So, we started off New Year with fucking fantastic news, right? Literally 3 hours after it had become 2025, there was a goddamn terrorist attack. Like, an actual one. Like this is, I'm pretty sure, at least, from everything that I've seen so far, and everything that just from this morning alone, it seems to be pointing in that direction. So you don't know, just today, on the January 1st, like this morning, like literally like 3 hours of the ball drop, it was like 3:20 a.m. Some dude, I don't know his name. I do know his name. I just don't know how to pronounce it. Like Sumdab Abad Jahar or something. I don't know. I'm butchering it, but he got butchered, so I don't really care. But so he drove a car. Why am I laughing? It's not funny. I just have a naturally smiley attitude. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna get really angry later, so don't worry about it. He drove his car through Bourbon Street and killed 10 people and like injured like 30 more. So yeah, it's really tragic news. Again, I'm sorry, bad journalist. But yeah, so that happens, right? And I'm like looking at it, and I did some stupid stuff about it. I looked the news and I made some dumb Snapchat story, like talk to my friends, because I thought it was kind of not interesting, like morbidly interesting. I was like, damn, really? The day after New Year's, something tragic this has to happen. Like, you had to wait till after the ball drop to do this. Like this, like, come on, man. You have to be that fucking decrepit, and you have come on, you're a piece of shit. You're absolute garbage. You're trash, 100%. Then later on, I come to find out even more, and then there's this black flag on the back, and I'm like, I'm going on Twitter after that, and I start seeing all the usual Twitter conspiracy theorists. I'm like, yes, this is a targeted terrorist attack. It's Al Qaeda. It's ISIS. We gotta stop it. They're gonna kill our children and rape our wives or something. And like, I'm like not taking it seriously, because I'm like, okay, the flag could be anything. You can't actually see what it is. I don't really, I don't know. No one knows. And then later, come to find out, it was confirmed to be an ISIS flag. So obviously it was like a terrorist thing, because like it goes in stages. So it's like, first it comes out, there's a guy who runs his car through Bourbon Street and kills 10 people, and you're like, damn, that's fucked up. That's so sad. Like, come on, in the new year too, like prayers and everything to families and stuff like that. So I hope everyone gets better and that they make a full recovery, because like this is so stupid. I fucking hate this goober. Maybe that's why I'm smiling, because I know he's dead. That's rude. That's not rude. That's not rude at all. He put an attack on my people and my country. That's not fucking rude. I'm also happy because there's a Kennedy on stage, but I'll get to that. My thoughts and prayers to the families, and I hope they get a full recovery. But yeah, I want to get back to so it starts off on stages. You go from that, and then you go from, it's like, okay, now you see the ISIS flag, so obviously it was like a terrorist attack, to then you find out that there was fucking IEDs planted around the thing, which for everyone who doesn't know it, I'm pretty sure you do, it's an explosive device. It's literally, they go boom. So it's like, not only did he kill a bunch of people and run his car through the road, and then have like a trick, I guess, gun, like a suppressor, a red dot, a laser sight, and he had like multiple guns in his car, and he started firing once he like crashed through the crowd and everything. And he took down 2 officers too. It goes from all that to like, okay, now there's fucking bombs. Like this is a fucking terrorist attack. Like, holy shit. But I mainly just want to talk, like, that's like the basic like little facts of the stuff. Like I said, so they shot 2 cops. They was working with ISIS. Maybe that's like, I guess it's still the speculation, because it's like, maybe this could all be a big old ploy. Maybe it could just be like a psyop thing. Like, he just wants to make everyone think he was working for ISIS. Because he was a U.S. citizen from Texas, which is weird, that he has the ISIS flag on his thing. Well, it's not that weird, I guess. I guess they could hold train. Like, I have some conspiracy theories that I made up that I think are pretty. No, they're not funny. This is not a funny thing to talk about. But I have a couple conspiracy theories myself that I like, just because I speculation, just like the stuff that happened, because they're not telling us anything. Obviously, they cannot tell us anything because it would hurt the investigation. Maybe, I don't know. There's some things I think that they should be able to tell us that they're not telling us, that I think is kind of awkward and weird and bad. But like, I just want to talk about mainly the press conferences. It was the first press conference that I've ever actually sat through, like for a issue or something, like for something that happened, because this is, I think, like the first actual big terrorist attack thing that's happened in my lifetime. Yippee, I'm fucking talking. Like, I was alive when 9/11 happened, but I was a baby, so I didn't really see it, and it didn't really matter to me much, because I didn't know what the Twin Towers was. So, like, seeing this now, it like legitimately scared me. Like, I was legitimately kind of freaking out. I was like, holy shit, they were bombs. This could have gone horribly, horribly wrong. And obviously they they just said they were bombs. We don't have any information if like they were dud bombs, they were dummy bombs, they were fake, they weren't actually gonna work or anything like that. They just said they were bombs, and I'm taking it seriously because a dude ran his car through 10 people. Like, am I not supposed to take that seriously? But the press conference. So it starts off pretty normal. There's this FBI lady. She doesn't talk for like basically the rest of the conference. They let her open the thing, which bugged me because the entirety of the conference, they're sitting there and they're saying the FBI is in charge of the investigation. The FBI is running this. We got to talk to the FBI. The FBI's got to do that. The FBI's got to do that. But then they don't let the fucking FBI lady speak. It's like, if they're running the investigation, let them run the conference too. Let us speak to them. You know, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that. It was kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I had the sense that New Orleans, I don't know if anything of this has happened in New Orleans. I'm not very knowledgeable about the facts of New Orleans. I've never been there. Yippee! Shut up! I'm not really knowledgeable with like stuff about New Orleans, but I'm going to safe to assume, not safe to assume, I'm going to assume that nothing like this has probably happened in New Orleans, maybe in like a long time or whatever. So, because like they had them in this little box room, they were like walking past each other, they were all like pushed together. It was really jumbled. There was like a big old mess. It was like tangled up and everything. It was really weird. At one point, the one of the like deaf interpreters got yelled at by the person speaking on the microphone. She's like, "Excuse me," and he just looked down at himself like a sad puppy or something. There are these two weird people in the background. I can't tell if they were journalists with the news or with the mayor and everyone. They had their iPhones. They kept holding them up over everyone's head and recording. And I don't know why. I don't get it. It was really everything was just a mess. It just felt like it was thrown together last minute, which it was probably because it just happened at 3 a.m. and it's fucking what time was it now? It's 3 in the afternoon. So they had 12 hours? No, they could have got it better. Like I just like, why don't you get a bigger room? Like actual mics. It just felt very, very rushed for no reason. And I don't understand that. But so you start off, the mayor and the police chief, I think she was, kind of like hit my nerves a little bit. They seem to just start getting like progressively more and more angry like as the conference went on, because they were getting asked like simple questions, and obviously they were told not to answer them by the FBI, and then they kept saying they couldn't. But I feel like some of the questions were pretty simple, and they had a right to know, and that some of their answers were a bit bad. Like the mayor, I don't think is a spokesperson. I don't think he's really good at public speaking. I think you could tell from that. I think the woman, I just didn't think she cared. Like she just started getting very antagonistic near the end of it and yelling, "The terrorists made us do it. All terrorists' fault." Not really. I'm kind of, up in the ante with that a little bit. But she did yell at it once at least. So like at one point someone asked the mayor, "How do you know there's like multiple shooters around?" Oh yeah, so they think there's multiple shooters too. That's why it's like another. They think there's like a whole big group. That's why the FBI's there. I should have mentioned that. They think it's like a whole big group, and there's like multiple people, and like there's a big attack. That's why I'm also really scared, because like it seems to be that way. How do you know that there's two shooters? And the guy just goes, "Well, why would I tell you that?" And I'm like, well, maybe because they live in New Orleans, and maybe if you tell them like what the shooters may look like, or like why you think there might be two of them, they can be more cautious with how they proceed with their daily lives and not get in trouble, and maybe run upon the shooter that you're looking for. Maybe give them like a little minute details. Like they kept saying, "How do you know there's two shooters? How do you know you did this?" And then they just saying, "I can't answer that question. I'm not going to answer that." Why? You could have just told them like, we have camera footage of this. Like we have stuff of this. Like just give them little minute answers so that they know that you're not just like either making shit up or you're like hiding information. Because it was just really weird the way they would say it, and you could clearly tell he was getting really angry, especially the mayor. His face started getting redder and redder as it get more and more. And I get it. They can be annoying, journalists and media people, when they're asking the same questions over and over again. But if they eventually they tried to shut down the press conference once, all right, we're done with this. And I was like, wait, no, we have more questions, we got to do this, we got to do no. And then they kept it going, which was good, which is really good. Because we got some more information and everything. Well, not really. Like I said, they didn't really tell us anything. They didn't really do a lot because they can't. Like I said, I know they can't. But this brings me to my favorite part of the press conference, Mr. John Kennedy, not John F. Kennedy. I hope he's related to one of them because he sure damn acted like it. This guy is my new favorite politician I've ever seen in my goddamn life. He's a senator. He's Senator Kennedy. He was there, and the only thing I knew about him at first was I was watching my grandfather, and I'm like, there's this grumpy dude in the corner, and he just looks really grumpy. And I come to find out later, it's because he's angry. And I also want to give a shout out. You can tell they're really taking this seriously. All the emotions in the room are really high. Like, they were getting really angry. They were actually getting upset, and not just at the journalists, when they were talking about the guy and what he did and the protection of New Orleans and how they want to make sure it's safe. You could tell they genuinely were angry about this. They were pissed. Like, that these people's deaths and everything were weighing on their mind. They didn't just think of it as another number. They were thinking of it as an actual tragedy, which I respected. I thought it was very good, and I like to see that in my people running my country. I like to see that they have emotions. But John Kennedy gets up there, and he has one of the hardest lines I've ever heard. I guess it's really not that hard, but I thought it was. He says, this should hit the gag reflex of every American, which, bars. Go off, King. Honestly. And then he starts going on, he's like, look, we need to know the truth. You tell them the truth. You have to let them know the truth about what we know and who we have, which kind of scares me because it makes me believe, and I know for a fact that they do because he literally says it later, but they know something we don't, obviously. But what do they know that we don't? Why is he so into the whole thing? You'll find out. Well, I know why, because he wants us to know the information too. But his whole gimmick up there mainly was letting the people know. He's like, because he tried to shut the media stuff down before they asked the questions before it even started. He was like, look, the FBI is in charge of this, and I understand you want to know everything, and you want to know all your questions, but listen, I promise you, when it is over, I personally will make sure you all know the truth, and you all hear everything about it. He was like, or they will suffer my hellfire or something, which kind of reminded me of when John F. Kennedy said he would splinter the CIA into pieces. I thought it was just a really cool line delivery, and he was really up there. He was badass. Snide dissed the FBI a lot too. At one point he was like, I haven't talked to the FBI, they ain't even talked to me. They may have talked to my people, but they ain't talked to me yet. He was like, his main point was just to be like, dude, well, you'll get the truth. We will make sure that you get it. Trust me, I promise you, as the senator, you will all know and understand what's happening here. It's a giant tragedy. Just let us work around and let us move on and focus on what we got to do. And I respected him for that. And they should have just let him speak, because then the mayor gets on it, and then he starts talking to the journalists, giving himself a bad image, doing some whatever. But he did make two really good points. The end one was someone asked him, how do you know it's going to be safe? The football game tomorrow. So there's this big football game thing going. There's the Sugar Bowl. That's why everyone's in New Orleans. I think there's over 60,000 people, which is why I think this was sort of a planned, targeted thing now. I think that's where a lot of people are getting their heads wrapped around. And so, and he's like, they're like, how do you know it's going to be safe for us? They push the game from today to tomorrow, because apparently it's a big game. It's really important. There's millions of dollars into it, and they have to do it. And there's so many people that went to New Orleans for this specific reason. And the Super Bowl is coming up soon as well. So, kind of a big deal in New Orleans right now. So someone asked him, how do you know it's going to be safe to go to the game tomorrow? And he's like, because I'll be there. Watch. If he does show up, it does prove that he is confident that because they brought in a bunch of resources. They brought in the military police, the National Guard, and a bunch of other stuff. They have so many things working on this right now. Obviously, because it's such a big deal. They should be. It is a big deal and everything like that. So, but he's like, yeah, I'll be there. So if he is there and he shows up, good on him. It proves he's confident. But most of the confidence that I got from the people that I'm pretty sure they're gonna heavily work on this is from John Kennedy. The way he spoke and the way he presented himself was just fantastic. It was so fantastic. I'm pretty sure he shouldn't drive with a convertible or near any grassy knolls, because that probably wouldn't be a good idea. History might repeat itself. And the other good point that the mayor made was something that I want to touch on. This is gonna be where I'm gonna get a little controversial, right? A little controversial. They're definitely going to hound on the cops for the fact that the guy was able to drive on the sidewalk, because he shouldn't have been able to drive on the sidewalk. A lot of the questions they were asked was, how was the stuff blocked so people could get down the road? Why was this guy even allowed to get down this road to do this act? And they said that it was they had stuff blocked off, and they were talking around it a lot. They had these baller things, these giant pillars that are supposed to stop cars from going through, and everything like that. And Then the police chief brings out the captain who set up the whole barriers and everything, and he starts telling me, he's like, yeah, we have the ballers, we're doing this stuff, we were working on security, now we got to work on trying to figure out why this tragedy happened, and we got to heighten security, so it's kind of hard now. At first, we were just worried about security and stuff like that, but now we're worried about both of it. And then someone asks him, why was there no stuff up on the sidewalk? Did you just not expect someone to go up on the sidewalk, or did you just not plan for it? And the guy says, obviously, no, we didn't expect anyone to, obviously we don't expect anyone to go on the sidewalk. And I know for a fact everyone's going to be really mad and pissed off and yell, scream, and piss their pants about that. But let me put you through a fucking reality check right now. I don't think anyone has ever driven down Bourbon Street sidewalk before and killed people. I don't think this was ever a common thing. So, say, you know those signs you see, like those joke signs where it's like, please don't water the flowers, they're fake and it'll cause an electrical outlet crash or whatever, or please don't molest the alligators. And you're like, those signs are only there because someone did that thing and someone had to make a sign about it. Here's the thing about those signs. They wouldn't be there unless that person did that thing, so you wouldn't know that thing didn't need to be done. Everyone would just assume you shouldn't do it because it was just a commonality. You know, you don't really think about things you should worry about until you need to really worry about them. You know, it's not really in the back of your mind. So say, for like 50 years you have Bourbon Street, and for 50 years you have parties on Bourbon Street, and for 50 years, I'm only saying, I don't know if it's been there for 50 years, I'm saying 50 years is like an example of time frame. And for 50 years, nothing happens. No one drives down that sidewalk. Obviously, you're not going to sit there and be like, all right, someone's going to drive down the sidewalk today, so we have to do it. However, I do understand if you are a police officer and you are in charge of security and there is a big party going on, especially with how society has been running recently and all the stuff that has been happening with the assassination attempts and stuff like that, you should have had the forethought to maybe block off the sidewalk. Possibly. It should have crossed your mind. 100%. However, I also do understand why it didn't. It does make total sense why this wasn't a thing that they were worried about, because it had never happened before. They didn't even know they needed to worry about it. It just wasn't even in their frame of reference to think about. So, I get that. Alright, so this is a weird setting change. I'm wearing like a different jacket and everything's weird and different and new and it's all dark and shit now, but I wanted to clear a couple things up because I realized now, rewatching this footage, I never actually clarified what my point was for the second mayor's good point that what he made here, that goes with what I just said about the molesting alligators and the driving down the street thing. He said that if the guy really wanted to, he could have just drove down any street that didn't have the ballers and the stuff attached to it and everything. So, like, imagine if you go down a street and there is nothing protecting it, and there's no party going on, but there's still people, and you drive down that street. Obviously, you weren't thinking of protecting that street either, because you shouldn't even have to be like, you shouldn't have to protect every single sidewalk from someone driving on it, because people just shouldn't do that. But there are monsters in this world, like this guy, who decide to just be like, you know what, the sidewalk is now my road, and just completely do heinous and despicable actions against it, using the thought process of normality and flipping it in reverse, like the upside down, and doing the opposite of what you should do. It's like those intrusive thoughts that everyone has, where like you're in an elevator and you see a baby and you're like, dude, I want to just like steal the candy from its mouth or whatever, but you don't do it because obviously you shouldn't, but then these people would. Like, it's just crazy. And it's stupid, and I don't know why anyone would like just like do that. So obviously the mayor did make a good point when he said, if you don't want to worry about this sidewalk, like we shouldn't have to worry. The sidewalk was just something that shouldn't have to worry about. So I understand where that comes from. And it is tragic that because this worry was such in the back of their mind that they didn't even worry about it, even though they probably should have like thought about it or something, like something came up with a little thing about it. It's tragic that this ended in people's lives being lost. So now the total count has gone up to 15 from what I recorded this earlier today at like 3 o'clock. It's now like midnight, so it has gone up to like 15 now, and it's horribly tragic, and it sucks that this, because of some simple human error and no forethought given by people who didn't think they needed it, obviously, because there didn't seem to need to be a reason for it. People lost their lives because of it. But I want to keep reiterating the fact that this is not totally their fault. That is a human error. Anyone would have made that mistake. Anyone who sits there and says that they should have had that sidewalk blocked off or something
would have made the same mistake of forgetting to block off the goddamn sidewalk because in their head it wasn't even an issue. There was no issue there. There's just no reason to think about it. Anyone would have done that. It literally could have happened to anyone. So to reiterate, the thing is, it's not like, yes, should they have had a forethought of doing that since they're police officers and they're law enforcement and they're supposed to be trained and stuff like this? 100%, absolutely. But they're not like professionals like these. They're not Secret Service. They're just regular run-of-the-mills Louisiana cops, you know? So obviously they're not thinking super tactically or everything like that or anything like that. And again, given the past history of the war that was happening, they all probably should have. But this is not totally on them. This is on the person who decided to take his fucking car and drive it down the road. This is whose fault that is. That is the reason those people are dead. Yes, you can blame the people that were in charge of the operation and doing whatever, but at the end of the day, it is that motherfucker's fault. It is him and him alone at fault for the death of those people because he chose to do what he did, and that's what I think is what I was really trying to get to. I know I sound more serious now. I think it's because I was more relaxed when I was doing it before, and I would just to give a little backstory. When I was doing it before, I just found out about it, and it legitimately did terrify me to see something like this happen in like my lifetime, an actual like terror attack or what can be consumed as a terror attack, and like to see it in real time and hear the press conference and look at these people and hear about like some American tragedy literally the day after New Year's. It kind of scared me, so I was just being really goofy and I was just trying to talk about it, and it just happened. And when things just happen, I don't really take them super seriously, and that is a fault of mine. I know it came off that way, but I do genuinely care about the stuff and everything that I would just, like I said, I think I said it in the video, I'm naturally smiley or goofy, so I just wanted to reiterate that and put that out and give a little bit of some more updates on the thing, because like I said, this is something that I saw it scared me. I took it seriously. I genuinely care about this. I hope they get the guys. Now they're thinking that there might not even be multiple people. There's speculation that it's not even a group. This guy just did this and something. So I hope it's either over or they get the people. Yeah, there's clarification. Goodbye. But I think that's it for the whole like press conference whole thing. I think that's done. I think I wrapped it up. I hope some of that was coherent and it's done whatever and whatever. I want to stress the fact, because I do genuinely care that this thing happened. That this was such a stupid, horrible fucking thing. I'm so glad they got the guy. Like he runs through all these people. He gets out of his car, goes to shoot 2 cops, successfully does it, then gets taken down by the 3rd one. Like I'm glad they did it. Like this is one of those times where I'm like, I'm not really upset that the guy is, because like look what he did. Look what he did. This is an attack on our people, man. I know most people that live in America now will sort of like debrand themselves from the American name because of certain stuff that has happened and the way our society's been running, but I never will, because at base we still stand for freedom and care and compassion and stuff like that, and we're all about humanity and stuff like that and everything, in my head at least. Maybe it's just because I'm a peaceful dude and I love peace and I hate murder and war and all this stuff like you normally should and everything, and I want positivity and everything like that. I like America, and I think it's a great place to live, and I like the people that live here. I don't like when people kill the people that live here. I think that should be a very, commonality between a lot of people. So it really does suck. It's like, and literally the day after New Year's, the day after everyone is celebrating, when there's a new game happening, spirits are high, and obviously, yeah, that's why they did it when they did it. Spirits are high. America's up right now, or everyone's like, it's like going to school during Spirit Week and everyone's wearing the colors of your school, and you just see the homecoming football game and your football team wins. It's like we're fucking going off, dude. I never had that feeling. My football team never won, but it's like that, and it's like, and then they take it all away, and it's so tragic and annoying and stupid, and fuck you. Like, go fuck yourself. I hope they find these other groups. I think they might have already know who they are, and they're tracking them down, hence why they're not telling us anything, because they have an idea where they might be, and if they said anything, that they might flee or do whatever. I hope so. I hope they get these fuckers soon, if there even is multiple of them. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But yeah, come on, dude. Fuck you. Fuck off, guy. I'm sorry. I told you I was gonna get pissed off. It genuinely just makes me angry to watch this shit happen. Like, why? Just why? What's so important about New Orleans? Why did you have to kill people? Like, you try to have a point to make. You know what? You could use your words. You could make a really cool, detailed, like, note manifesto thing that people could respect. No, instead you just go fucking murder people and be like, this is my message. What's your message? You want us all to fucking die? Like, then what? What are you gonna do with America? Use it for fucking farmland? You guys are blowing yourselves up over there too. You're just gonna make America explosive. Sorry. I think I got too. I got too. God damn it. It fucking infuriates me. It pisses me off. Especially because, like I said, this is the first sort of thing I had to deal with this as like an adult, where I see myself as like an actual true American. Like I'm in society now. I'm no longer getting treated by society. I am helping society treat. You know, it just like. I hate it. It fucking pisses me off. But now let's get a little, I guess a little goofy. We'll get a little out there. Let's do some conspiracy theories that me and my family might have made up. Well, we didn't make it up. It's just going off speculation of like stuff that has happened. But they are conspiracies, I guess, because there's no facts here. Number one, what if I think, you know, so there's bombs and there's a guy in a truck and, you know, terrorism. So obviously the big thing. So obviously there's a football game, big stuff. So what I originally thought would happen was the car was like a distraction to do the thing, and then everyone gets like congregates near the car and sees what happened, and then boom, explosions go off, big casualty rate, obviously, because that's what they're going for these whole things. I'm pretty sure they're going for the highest casualty rate that they can. And then I was like, well, what if the car guy just messed up the entire plan? What if what happened was that they were supposed to sneak in and blow the explosives and everything like that, and like just plant them around and wait for the game to start that night and then blow them up when everyone was like going there, when it was like overly packed, but the guy jumped the gun and like saw an opportunity and took it, and then it boggled the whole operation up or something like that, and then they whatever. Or there's like the third one where like, what if none of this is even real, and the guy who's from Texas isn't even a terrorist affiliated with ISIS, and he just like did that. Like, he's just a stupid asshole who's just fucking dumb and was just like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go kill a bunch of people. And he just did that. And the bombs were all like dummy bombs or fake, and there's like nothing in them, and they weren't even going to fucking explode, you know? So that, you know, there's a couple of things. There's a couple stuff that could go, but either way, this was definitely a targeted thing. Like, this feels like a whole planned out operation. This doesn't feel like this is just an on a whim type of thing, you know? Like, I guess they're gonna try. I hope they track by the cameras to see where they got those how they got those IEDs placed and stuff like that. It's just wild. It's crazy. It's a wild story, and it literally just happened. So, you know, there's my thoughts on it and everything. I hope this doesn't piss anyone off. I just thought it was kind of interesting to talk about, especially because, like I said, it just happened. Like I said, again, thoughts and prayers out to the people that are affected by this. And if you're in New Orleans, please be safe and do not explode, because that would be very bad. And watch out for people who could be a terrorist, even though they're not telling you what they might look like, because they might ruin the investigation and everything like that. And also, stay away from Bourbon Street. They made that very clear. It's an active crime scene right now, so do not think it's funny to take pictures of dead people. Apparently there's still like dead bodies laying on the ground and everything. Do not think it's funny to take pictures of dead people and like go there and be like, oh guys, we're gonna go see a dead body. That would ruin investigation and hurt a lot of stuff, and this needs to be solved hopefully really fast, because this is tragic and this should not have happened, and the guy's a scumbag. Multiple people are scumbags in this situation, and I cannot wait for John Kennedy to run for president, because I will vote for him, and I hope that he does what he said he did. And my dad was said something. He's like, if someone like that in that line of power makes a promise like that on live TV, they usually go through with it. And I mentioned to him, I was like, yeah, or they could just shoot him, you know. But I hope everything gets solved. I hope it's all good, and I hope everybody stays safe that's in New Orleans. And thoughts and prayers to the people that were affected. And I hope they all make it really. Hopefully they make a really good recovery, because this just sucks. But yeah. Sorry for the bad news. Great way to start the new year, though, I guess. Goodbye.